It's Wednesday, and I know you want to make money and have fun. We're going to do that today. But do you have your cup of coffee? Because I have mine. And that means there it is. It's time for the music. See you in a minute. Good morning. You're on the Success Secrets for Business, Family, and Life channel. This is the Coffee Break Show. I'm Vickie Hellman. It is brought to you by Metadime Digital. We go live Monday through Friday, and we share tips, tools, techniques, inspiration, motivation, and those things that are going to help you create thrivability in your life. And today, I have the king of making money and having fun. I want you to meet, and I don't know how it happened that his name thing didn't come up. We're going to see this. This is Fred Posimo, and I know you guys are popping on already going, hey, here it is. Facebook user, happy hump day, Metadime family. It's Ryan. Nice to see you on, Ryan. You two ought to talk to each other because you guys need to meet. Ryan, this is Fred. Fred, this is Ryan. Glad to see you coming on board. Put your name down below and join us for the conversation. Now, before I get started, I just want to say good morning, Fred, and welcome to the Coffee Break Show.
Well, for me, it's actually good afternoon. So good afternoon to you, Vickie.
That's right. He's on that East Coast, so it's already 1 p.m. And I see you guys popping on. Keep jumping on right here. I'm glad you're here. Yes, love to connect, Fred. Ryan, yes, it would be fun. So today I want to tell you about Fred because I think he is one of the most dynamic individuals in his category in this market today because I am versed in the old school way. And the old school way is how to make money and suffer. And so what ended up happening is when you meet Fred, he is absolutely infectious with his smile and his attitude. And what he works at isn't just trying to teach people about entrepreneurship. He tries to teach people how to have fun while making money. And I have to admit that attitude that he has of making money and having fun. Good morning all the way. We got Australia in the house. I see you guys coming in. So I see you bopping in. I know it's like 4:30 in the morning over there in Australia. Thanks for joining us today. That's,
nice.
Good morning. But what I do want to tell you about Fred that most people don't know about is he's like a 2nd degree black belt. He started karate at like 7, and he has always been a personal development junkie, no matter what. I mean, ever since I've known him, he is very devout to his personal development. And he does that. So at 18, he was a martial arts teacher. He was a 2nd degree black belt by then. So don't mess with me. I have friends in high places that might kick your butt. Anyway, he became infused with the philosophies of growth and personal development and self-improvement at such a young age. And what he noticed was, why are all these people working in such pain when they could make money and have fun? And today we're going to dive deeply into that. He's also the host of the ever popular podcast, the Make Money and Have Fun show, which we'll talk about later. Good morning, everybody coming on. I see you all popping on. Hey, Sean. Okay, Sean's up there, 2nd degree black belt. That's right, he is.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you for being here, Fred. I just want to start out by saying, I just want to begin at the beginning. Like, how did you get this concept of make money and have fun? How did it start for you when you saw all of us older people suffering?
Sure. So happy to be here, Vickie. This is actually super exciting. So I gotta tell you a little bit of a story here. So I had started going through the entrepreneurship world, I guess around 19 or 20 years old. I really started getting into it as I was going through martial arts, which martial arts, like you mentioned, is really just personal development. It's personal development shrouded inside of kicks and punches. And as I started going to seminars and meeting coaches and taking classes and courses and doing all the things that I needed to do to be a great student, you start to hear the same things over and over again. You start to recognize these patterns. And what really happened for me was make money and have fun was kind of born almost out of desperation. It was during a bad time in my life that make money and have fun actually emerged. And what actually happened, Vickie, is you'll love this. I went to a very small, very intimate seminar. It was only about 12 people there.
Mhm.
And there was about 12 different speakers. I mean, we all took a turn to speak. We all took a turn to learn. And one of the people got up in the front of the room and they handed everybody, let me get my props here, a Post-it note. He gave everybody a Post-it note who was in the audience, and he just put one right in front of you. And he went up, and this was literally his entire keynote. It's less than like 3 minutes. He goes up there, he grabs the microphone, and he goes, listen, here's what I want you to do. On that Post-it note that I put in front of you, I want you to write in 4 words or less who you are and what you do. Right? Describe yourself in 4 words or less. And so at this point, I had come out of being a real estate investor. So I started in real estate investing at 22 years old. And I built up a small empire. And I also burn it down just as quickly as I built it up. and I learned a lot of lessons from that. And I was at this point where I was like, do I want to get back into real estate investing and be Fred Posimo, the real estate investor? Or do I want to do something else? And I always had this propensity for speaking. You know how some people will say they're natural born salesmen. I always felt like I was a natural born speaker, as cliche as that sounds to say. I've just always kind of been good at it, never really been nervous. So I liked teaching and training a lot more than I liked real estate. But I was steeped in knowledge of personal development and financial literacy more specifically. So the first 2 words that went down on this piece of paper were make money. But I said, wait, I can't be Fred Posimo, the make money guy. That's too vague. It's not niched enough. It's not narrow enough. There's 8 billion other people out there like that. And then as I took a few minutes and kind of thought about it, I said, what about having fun? What about not making it so much about financial literacy, but about bridging that gap between your own fulfillment and a financial income that's sustainable for you to maintain that fulfillment along the way? And literally, I wrote it down on this Post-it note. Make money and have fun was on this Post-it note. And then all I did, Vickie, was I went online onto Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook. And I put a post up that said something, whatever, make money and have fun. And the weirdest thing happened. It started catching on. People started like hashtagging it and liking it and commenting on it and engaging it. And I did that a few more times. And then in a couple of weeks, not only were people engaging with it, but people were associating me as like the make money and have fun guy. And I'm like, what is happening? And then the straw that broke the camel's back was really this. I scheduled a call with my now good friend, Dr. Greg Reed. And I told him, I said, Greg, look, I'm going through this downturn in my real estate business. I think I want to transition into the author, speaker, coach, consultant business. What should I do? And he said, well, you need a name and a hook. So we threw paint at the wall for like 20 minutes. And I go, Greg, what about this? And I said, make money and have fun. And as soon as I said it, his eyes lit up. And he's like, that's it. That's going to be your thing from now on. And then we went online onto Amazon and we looked up that there was no book named Make Money and Have Fun. And I went and bought the domain makemoneyandhavefun.com. And it was a premium domain. So, if that wasn't enough of a message, and since then it's just been all in. I put all my chips on the table and said, all right, let's do this thing. And it's just been so much fun.
I think it's so interesting how, you hear 2 things. It's like the right career chooses you, or the right message chooses you to come through you in that way, or you come in with a cause or a purpose that you want to do. And I loved how it got you to the point where you were literally sitting there and saying to yourself, what do I do? And one of the things is, because I know the real estate thing, I did the real estate thing too. And I got to admit, I am not really a real estate person. I like nice home. I got my home that I want. I'm not like, ooh, I need a 25,000 square foot, multi-million-dollar lakefront, oceanfront property. It's not me.
Right.
I just give me my cozy little space. But the other thing is, it's the thing that is kind of the resonance of you, the vibe, if you will. You're always the kind of make money, and you're always the kind of have fun. And blending the 2 together, most people wouldn't have thought those 2 things go together, but they do. And so the projects you've done, you're also an author. Do you tell me you have some of your books with you?
Because I do. Of course I do.
And he switched. He made this pivot. He made this transformation, but sat himself in his core a genius, his core excellence. And that's part of the making money and having fun, the whole point of it. So let me ask you something. I love this. I want to go over here because some people are talking. I just want to put it up. Larissa, I agree. This is genius, effortless, enjoyable, and fun. And that's true. And I want to let you know, he does have a book coming out shortly that is the Make Money and Have Fun book. But let's talk about some of the other books you have, because you have a mindset book that is out there. And you also have one other book as well that are biblical ideas and quotes from it. And pop one up. Do you have any of those with you?
I got them.
Okay, so you could see the revolutionary mindset. You could see right away that he was already doing this, and he just couldn't even see that we're doing it. And sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And what a great idea to put the sticky note in front of you, because I'm actually going to do that today. It may not be a sticky note because I'm not allowed to have sticky notes. But put that sticky note in front of you, and in 4 words, what do you do? You know? Make money and have fun. That's what he's about. And so I like the, here it is. Thank you for putting the first book up. And the second one is, I want to pop that other book there. Sure. Hey, Karen, will you put his other book up there? This is the Thought Bible, which is absolutely both of these books. And how old are you now? Like 26?
26. Yep.
26. Look at what he's done by 26. I mean, it's amazing what you can do now with the internet in just a short time. It's going to be his 3rd book coming out is the Make Money and Have Fun. So now what happens? What would you say to someone who is doing something they hate or dislike so much, but they can't figure out maybe how to figure out where their core have fun is? How can we turn that? Like you made this incredible pivot from something you probably didn't hate, but you were like, nah, it's not really me. This is me.
Sure.
And making that leap might seem scary, especially if you've had your business and you're older and maybe your family's. But what would you say to the person who's in that spot right now?
Yeah. So a couple of different things. I like to describe this as push versus pull. And this is something that I mention on one of my shows, and I mention a lot in the upcoming book, Make Money and Have Fun. And it's this idea that most people subscribe to trying to push themselves through life. They're not really a good fit. They don't fit exactly right. They're a square peg, kind of putting themselves into a round hole. But you know what? It sort of works, and I'm just going to force myself through it. I don't believe in that lifestyle. I don't believe in that mentality. I believe that there's a difference. There's a point where we can create full alignment, right? The same way you go to a chiropractor to get your body aligned. I want to help people get their finances and their fulfillment aligned. So there's a straight line between both of those things. And that's what we're talking about. So the first thing that I always do is I actually flip the script. So most people go to the passion guru or the person who's going to help you discover your why, and they always ask you the same stupid question. They say, well, what do you like to do? I'm like, well, moron, if I knew that, I wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here with you.
Yeah, like, what do I need you for? If I knew the answer to that question, obviously I wouldn't be here. So I changed the question. My question that I always like to ask people is, what do you do? Because Vickie, honestly, you're probably already doing the thing that you are in love with. You just either A, don't recognize that you're doing it, or B, don't think that you can make it into a monetizable career. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And when people identify that thing, because like I said, they're probably already doing it. They just don't have the self-awareness to recognize it or don't know how to convert it into a career. Once you recognize that thing, everything changes. And really the only thing that changes, the funniest part, is it's just the feeling. My workload hasn't decreased at all since I started Make Money and Have Fun. In fact, it's increased a lot, but it doesn't feel like it to me. One of the things, and I need to bring this up, one of the misnomers or myths that I think we live in is most people subscribe to the cliche, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yes.
That is the most bogus bunch of malarkey I've ever heard. I changed it. So I made my own quote, and it goes like this. do what you love, and you will work every single day of your life, but it won't
Yes.
feel like work anymore.
That's right. You got that right. It's so powerful what you just said, because I remember when I first started writing, I wasn't one of those people who thought to myself, man, I love writing, but I just kept doing it. I don't even know why. I did it every day, every day, every day. Every single day I wrote. I did not spend one day without missing that.
Right.
And the actual the passion I have for creating books or being an author or getting my message out in that way, it's suddenly you get to the point where you find that there is a piece of you that actually is doing what you're passionate about. You just haven't put your attention on it. Let me ask you something here. How much of winning in this, wait a second, I just want to pop this on so you can see it right here. Making the leap can be super scary for sure. When I left IBM after 11 years, after 21 years of always having a job, I just quit that life in 2008 to be a photographer and now also a graphic designer, web designer. I'm also so happy I made that decision. I am too, because that's my photographer and has been for the last decade. Every magazine cover, she's done every book picture, everything. I'm really glad that she's here, I got to tell you. So what I want to know though is how much of making this flip the script that you just talked about, a mindset, how much is it like, a lot of people think they hate what they do and they just take those leaps. Or how much of it is that flip the script? How long does a person have to look at themselves before they maybe find that niche or find what they love? Or is it their mindset or is it their work or both? Answer all three of those questions at once.
That's a good question. Do I have 3 hours to kill? No, I'm just kidding. So I'm a firm believer that mindset is the foundation. Before you can do anything, before I can teach you anything about making money, anything about financial literacy, I got to get your mind right first. That's why the first book I ever wrote is a mindset book, right? The Revolutionary Mindset is all about, it's literally revolution. What does the word revolution mean? It means revolting against an old way of thinking and evolving into a new way of thinking, right? That's literally the premise behind that book. And so, I think that number one, your mindset needs to be intact. But two, I think the most important thing that I would bring up, especially in that example with your photographer, is that it's very likely that if you decide to make a big transition in your life, go from working a 9-to-5 job to full-time entrepreneurship, you're probably going to take a little lull in your income temporarily. That's part of the key to success. What happens, here's the difference. If you are the person who sits in the attendees seats at a seminar versus the person who stands on the stage, the only difference is this: the person who's standing on the stage has failed way more times than the person who's sitting in the audience.
True that.
At that point. And a lot of times you need to ask yourself the question, how far down am I willing to go? Darren Hardy, the previous owner of Success Magazine, wrote a fantastic book called The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster. And roller coasters have really big ups, and they also have really big downs. And here's something else to think about. This is super cool. I was talking to a psychologist friend of mine, and he was saying that the chemical release inside of your body is exactly the same to allow you to feel terrified as it is to feel exhilarated. So your body's doing the exact same thing, but the meaning is very different.
This is so interesting that when we take a look at that and the discovery of it, I remember in the very beginning, in my first entrepreneurial journey, there was a level of innocence where I didn't know it was hard because I was 10 years old and I was sitting there. How am I going to make money? How am I going to make money? When the idea hit me, I started right. I didn't even think about how I was going to do it. I went to the next door, knocked on the door, and made that happen so that money flew in. And without realizing it, because nobody told me. There was an innocence piece of it. And what I remember about that time is exactly what you said. It's like there is absolutely, if you could move out of your way in your mind, you will understand that business is very divine, and it has with it an element of fun just because you're doing something intentionally, you're doing something in a connected way, and you're doing something that is part of the startup is absolutely fun for me. I love that part. Absolutely love that part. And so I just want to go and ask, I'm going to pop up and ask this, although I do want to hop over here because they are talking a mile a minute. Fred, they want to talk to you. I used to have a magnet on my fridge back when I worked at IBM, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. It's what inspired me to start exploring different things to see what I really loved. But I really agree with your tweak to that quote as well. I work a lot. I know she does for a fact. That I know now. But don't mind it because I so love what I do. Exactly. And it's really true. That is such a big portion of that, such a big piece of that. Let's see. Being must occur before doing. I agree with that. Lori pops back and says, oh, I totally took a lull in my income for a while, but it was worth it and I wouldn't change a thing. Lori, I'm so inspired by her journey only because it was in my face. And one of the other things is you don't know who's going to love you the most when you're done with what she does or I'm inspired that I think it's been over a decade now that we've been working together. I mean, having a client for a decade instead of a paycheck for a decade.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Entrepreneurs can ride the waves and up and down. That's part of the fun. I got to admit, I don't like the down part very much, but I love the up and getting to the top. And somehow you have to see the whole journey as that ride of having fun and making money.
Yeah.
Popping over here. I'm so with you on that, Lori. The year I quit my career, 35 years that I loved and jumped into both feet into our business, and I'm loving it. Though I'm working more than ever, it's a whole different space. It is. And you know what? We don't understand that space can be fun. It's like there's fun with a slight hidden part of it that is maybe a little unnerving, but that's part of the fun. That's part of the thing. So when somebody gets their piece of paper and they write down not what they do, like I'm an engineer, but what they do, I want to be really clear because you said, what do I do? Well, I make money and I have fun. And so you got that make money and have fun. And so I want to be super clear about how you develop that 4 words on there, because are they a core piece of you? Is how deeply do they have to go? I don't even know how to ask this question, Fred, because I don't want their mind to come in. It's like, I'm a plumber. I have a family. And, I don't want, it's like your career, your job, part of your attitude, part of your spirit was inside of that note. How do you get that on the table so people aren't writing, I'm an accountant and I have a dog? What is it that we get their energy, their vibe, or who they are on that paper?
Trying to say.
Good.
So at least one of us does, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's funny because make money and have fun is really an amalgamation of, I guess, a little more than a half a decade of work on myself. So a couple of years back, I started a company, right? I made a logo called New Life U. And it was this idea of creating a renaissance in the art of schooling. So I have a bit of a slanted viewpoint on the traditional American school system. I believe that we should be learning things like financial literacy, entrepreneurship, instead of Shakespeare and calculus. And so it was kind of this flimsy kind of idea around that never really caught on. This takes that even further because this says, beyond just the college students and beyond just the juniors and seniors in high school that are looking to chart a new path, where can we go with this? So for me, it's kind of, I kind of am at an advantage because if you're familiar with a disc profile at all,
Yes.
I'm a very high, I'm like a 96 on an I. So like, I think all the time. I drive my girlfriend crazy because she's a high D. So she's like, why can't we just do this? I'm like, let's think about it first. So I would say that I have developing a high level of self-awareness and taking time for deep introspective thought is definitely important with it. I would also ask myself a question, and that question is this, and we can even use your photographer as an example.
Sure.
And the question that I really ask myself
We're pimping you out, Lori.
Exactly. If you need your headshots done, go check out Lori Sunflower. Leave down in the comments below. What are we pitching here today? I don't even know what we're pitching anymore. Anyway, whether you want to be a photographer or whatever it is, right? I like to ask myself the question, what am I capable of giving to this world? Because really my transformation started way back about the summer after 8th grade. And the summer after 8th grade, I said to myself, I am worth more than this. When I became a first degree black belt at the karate school, I said, wait a minute, I have 10 years of experience in a very specific niched field. I think I'm worth more than 2 45-minute classes a week. And that's when I started volunteering and helping out there. And so I just had this insatiable desire to always grow bigger than where I am. And no matter how good something is, how can I make it bigger? So it doesn't matter what it is. Maybe you're a plumber and maybe you love plumbing, but come up with something that makes you the plumber, right?
Yes.
I'm the plumbing professional or whatever. This thing that differentiates you, especially in today's market. If you want to stand out as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, look at it in a perspective of how can I be the person that's different than everybody else? Because look, the money principles don't change. I'm going to teach you the same thing about money that anybody else is going to teach you because it works. If it works, it works. But why would you talk to me over somebody else? Because I have a different hook than they have. And that might resonate with you. It might not. Maybe you like the other person better. But I'm staking my claim in this ground here and I'm rolling with it. And for me, again, the easiest way that I can describe it in terms of being fully aligned is a term that I use a lot. And basically what it means is I think about it on a trajectory and think of it just like a horizontal line. So over that horizontal line, that line's going to split eventually. And it's either going to split downward towards burnout or upwards towards success. And the way that you feel as you're progressing across that horizontal line, as you're going through the work, will let you know, hey, you're heading towards burnout or hey, you're heading towards success. And really you can feel it. When I was at my last sales job, I was like, this is icky. This is gross. This is not, it's a different kind of work. It just feels in you. You're like, I don't want to push myself. I don't want to go further.
God, you can feel that as well.
Exactly. With what I'm doing now, I look at the clock and I'm like, whoa, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
I can't believe this has already gone by. Yeah, I love that feeling.
What the heck happened?
Right? I love being in that creative wave of that too, Fred, because that's so fulfilling a feeling. What you're talking about is fulfillment, the feeling of fulfillment, and that energizes you instead of burns you out. You get more energized.
Yeah. I wrote in my first book, I created a quote, and it's real simple. I said, everybody on the face of this planet is ceaselessly in search of one thing, a feeling.
Yes.
And that's it.
That's right. That one feeling. I want to stop here. Lori's popped in and I love what she says. I really love that whole theme, Fred, make money and have fun. And I hope you reach a ton of people and this concept really takes off more in our world. It'll be much more beautiful world when everyone is out there having fun while they're making money. There are currently way too many people out there who hate their jobs, hate their careers, hate their income sources, but they just feel so well. I've been doing it for years. That's so true. And that's why I have him on, because I think this is so important to understand how fulfillment, it's like once you have that thing you love, you're willing to do the things inside the business or inside it that you don't love so much, but you do it with joy because the other stuff you love so much, it's so fulfilling then. I didn't even know a career could be so fulfilling.
Exactly.
And that's powerful how it goes. Sean, introspection to clarify the simplicity of who you are and what you want to be. No BS. Love it. It's so simple to be, it's so simple, so easy to be in this wave of joy in your life. And I want to tell you the reason I'm so appreciative and I really feel like make money is and have fun is so enriching is because we are sold the bill of life being hard. Mm-hmm. We're sold the bill of work is hard, life is hard, things are hard, da-da-da is hard. Well, when you're sold that bill, and that becomes the message that's running around, you create hard, you create stuckness, you create those things that don't make you happy. But right. What if there is a spot, what if there's a thought that you could turn this around and make money and actually have fun, have joy and fulfillment, have great quality of life? Well, I agree with that. I think that what Fred is saying, there is a point where I want to talk to those people. I know he's young and 26 and you guys are going, well, he's young and 26. Well, I don't give a crap about that. You can do this at any age. Don't lie to yourself. I don't care if you're 40, 50, 60, 70, or 80 years old. There is a turnaround moment where you can stop, make money, and have fun at any time and feel that fulfillment. So here's what I want to ask, because I am going to go to that person who's 40 or 50 who thinks, well, I got a family and I got a mortgage and I got all this debt and I got all these things. I can't make money and have fun. I got to make money and be responsible, because that's the second thing. And we're not saying be irresponsible, are we?
No, not at all.
Tell us a little bit more about how make money and have fun isn't like, hi, I'm irresponsible and I'm 26. No, exactly. It's for any age. Yes.
So here's the funny thing, and it's actually great that you brought this up. We need to hit the other half. So we've been talking a lot about have fun. Let's talk about make money. What do I actually mean with that phrasing of make money? Right? It doesn't mean for everybody that we need to make $100,000 a month in net income, right? Money is your well, yeah, for me too, right? It depends on where your financial appetite is, right? So I subscribe to that, but for other people, what it really is this. Income is your sustainability, right? I always say there's two types of people who I work with. The first type of person is the person who's working a 9-to-5 job that they absolutely hate, and they need to make a transition. The second type of person is so this person is working a 9-to-5 job, making a ton of money, but not having any fun. That's the first type. That's like my brother-in-law is the perfect example. Making a ton of money, hates his job. But what about the second type of person? The person who is making no money, but has loads of fun all day long. They're just gung-ho, happy on life, right? Like I have a couple of friends who are hippies, right? Very heavy hippies.
It's funny. That's what I thought. Those younger people who are just doing it. Yep.
That's what you think of. And that's great, right? It's amazing. I mean, they're amazing human beings and I love them to death, but their sustainability is not very long. See, the problem is today we don't hunt anymore. And because we don't hunt, we can't eat unless we transact the currency of this country, which is US dollars, which gets into a whole nother conversation about fiat money and all that, which we're not getting into today. But
I know, but I like to have that conversation with you because, that we'll do that.
Exactly.
That is definitely something I stand on.
So here's the interesting thing about the older individual. It becomes a question of priorities at that level, right? If I'm married with 2 kids and a house and car payments and tuition payments and student loan debt and all of these responsibilities in my life, it may not make sense for me to fully jump off the end of this ship into the open ocean of entrepreneurship at that time. But what if I could wean myself off? What if I could walk my way out of this instead of diving with both feet over the edge and, going from making an $80,000 a year income to making a 0 income, and I got all these mouths to feed?
Yes.
That's the key. And for some people, right, I sold high-ticket education programs for a while, for about 2 years. And people would come in and they'd sit in the seat and they go, man, I love this program. And it was for real estate investing. So people will come in and go, look, my financial life is screwed up. I'm not making the money that I want to make. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I need to make a change. And they come in and they go, I love this program. I love you. I see the value in it, but I can't divorce my wife. I can't leave my kids. I can't uproot my entire life
Yes.
to do this thing. And so sometimes it's a matter of walking before we run. Right? Can you take the extra 30 minutes or hour that you wake up earlier in the morning or stay up later at night and start to build something, right? And maybe it starts out where you're making $1,000 a month and then $2,000 a month and then grow it.
That's right.
Right? For me, I mean, look, I left my job 2 months ago, and this has been the hardest financial 3 months in my life so far. But it's pulling me again, right? I'm not pushing myself through it. And that's the funny thing is, like, people are always like, oh, I always wanted to start a YouTube channel, but whatever their excuse is, I just say in my head, you're not fully aligned. You haven't found the thing yet, right? And keep tweaking until finally you're going to be like, man, I spent the last 60 days and I wrote 60 blog posts. I don't know what the heck happened, but I got all this content now, all these viewers, and they're starting to pay me for viewership at this point. So I don't know what's happening. And just keep doing it.
That's like the most important thing, I think, is that consistency piece. Because when you were talking, I started rolling back on my entrepreneurial journey. And there was a point where I was very entrepreneurial. That's all I did. Then I went to college, and then I tried to work in corporate America. And I hated what I did. And I remember having the house and the kids and the cars and the this and the that. And I was like, okay, I have to make the transition. The sooner you start. And I gave myself a 5-year transition between, being in a corporate job, and I worked my butt off. But I moved, because I was an accountant. I moved into being a contracted accountant. Like, I would do a project. And pretty soon, with that transformation, what happens is you start to believe, and I want to talk about that for those people who get nervous, who are so stressed out. The thing about the paycheck is, when it's coming. The thing about the client is, they're coming, but you don't know when. You don't know for how long. And you sit in this unknown zone. And if you're not good at managing your mind, which is the first thing he told you to do right there, making that two things over here, taking that leap, getting that mindset, means that you can sit in that unknown zone, feel how uncomfortable it is, and deal with it that way. This is so important, that transition piece. I gave myself 5 years. I did it in 3. And nice. I did it in quantum leaps. They happened to you, but it was exactly how you said. Exactly. It was like suddenly you take the leap and people show up. And then pretty soon people show up. Want to pop this out because I agree with this. Susie says, the world needs your concept of making money and having fun. Everyone hurries through their life. That's the issue right there. Everyone hurries and they don't ask themselves what they want or if they're happy or what they do. That is true. Everyone hurries through their life. Creating lifetime memories works beautifully. When you're older, you can look back and realize you did it the right way. You took time with your family and friends and volunteering for hospice for 20 years. You're going to be so thankful. So do it your way, make money and have fun. That's really the thing. I always talk about, Fred, one of the things I always talk about is those people who have online businesses so that they create freedom, because there's those, what they call the nomad capitalists and the nomad digital nomads that go around and travel and do everything else. Yep. They don't need bajillions of dollars. They need the experience. What do you want to experience before you die? What's your message you want to leave the world before you die? How do you want to make money and have fun? If you want a lot of money, great. If you don't want a lot of money, that's equally great. Now, time and money right now, time, money, and meaning can all be rolled into one because the internet has provided us those new ways. Yes. Let's see right here. Oh man, isn't that true? Sometimes I notice I'm in the stuck spot. I will say to myself, my life is ease and flow, and the universe is setting everything up to bring me joy. It's true. And I always know the clients are coming. I always know the sales are coming. I may not know the when, but I just know they're coming. Robin, the pivot you made in your life career is benefiting so many people. Your experiences, including your 35 years in that career, benefits everyone that Metadime touches. MJ says, totally agree with Lori. They do not value themselves and do not know their life purpose. That's true. Moving down here, yes, they're not mutually exclusive. I worked in hospitals and that was super fun. I was 20 years, but they paid nothing and we all stayed because we loved it. That's true. When a career is fulfilling, it didn't pay well, but they loved it. But eventually I knew I needed to move on to make more money.
Yep.
Then I created what I loved about that place at another, and I got paid way more. Preach it. He's there. He is telling the truth, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Clarity of purpose is key. Clarity of purpose is key. And this is the one thing. It's like, once you have clarity of purpose, you can align with your life.
Yep.
And your life begins to align with you as well. There's not that thing. Let's see. The pull, unknown adventure, small steps towards the pull. Yes, towards that pull. Step one, always manage your mind. Okay, so let me ask you something now. We're going to move from the making money. I want to move to the having fun part.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about three ways people can have their work and have fun at just three tips on how they can work and have fun at the work, or what do you do to have fun? I know what I do to have fun, but I want to know what you do when you're in that space where, let's say, you're overthinking something and analyzing. How do you get back to the have fun part?
That's an interesting question, simply because it's different for everybody. So for me, it's funny because I'm doing the same exact thing now that I did back when I was a karate instructor. I just tweaked it slightly. When I left the karate school, it was similar to, I think it was Robin's story down there, who she said that, she worked at this place for 20 years and never got paid a single dime, right? Never made anything, but she loved it so much. That was similar to my experience at the karate school. At 17 years old, I was making basically nothing, right? I mean, like less than nothing at that point. At 22, I was making the same amount. And I'm like, small business, small money. But what do I love about this? I really love teaching. I love being in front of the room. I love public speaking, right? So I took that with me as I transitioned into my other fields, and I started teaching real estate investing, which is very much rooted in personal development. Kind of the same. I just got rid of the kicks and punches, kept all the other words of wisdom and motivational speeches, basically, that I gave. I mean, if you came to the karate school that I taught at, you would have thought you were in a Tony Robbins seminar where we just started doing kicks and punches in the middle of it. That's basically, we were saying basically the same things at that point. So here's the thing that I think is important to look at with this. Number one, if you're asking me to give 3 steps, number one, recognize that you can monetize and build a career out of anything today.
Yes.
Gary Vaynerchuk wrote in one of his books called Crush It, if you like collecting bottle caps, build a business around collecting bottle caps. I mean, I don't care what it is. I mean, look around, like Chia Pets, Pet Rock.
Yeah, pet rocks, mood rings.
The silliest things. And people don't believe it can work. And I point to somebody like Tony Hawk, right? Tony Hawk is one of the most well-known skateboarders in the world. At 19 years old, Tony Hawk is making $150,000 a year for skateboarding. If you want to skateboard, build a business around skateboarding. Are you going to be the next Tony Hawk? Probably not. But you can still create enough sustainability and wealth to generate this income for yourself that keeps you going through, right? So I would say that's really number one is don't be afraid to pick anything. And then number two, I would say, is do it your way, right? A lot of times, at least for me, especially as an entrepreneur at heart, I mean, I've always fallen out of jobs simply because of the job structure. They show up at a certain time, leave at a certain time, wear a uniform, do what you're told, all that kind of stuff. I'd say do it your way, right? Make it your own. And then number three, I would say right along the same lines is make it unique, make it different, right? change it than what's out there. And I feel like this is also a misnomer out there too, where people are like, oh, someone's already done that. It's like, well, yeah, no crap. That's why you have Wendy's and McDonald's, right? That's why you have Uber and Lyft. So just be your own version of it with your own twist on it. I mean, like I said before, I'm not changing the rules of money. I'm not telling you that if you pay me $1, it's actually gonna be $100 or making up some hocus pocus around money. I'm telling you the same stuff that financial advisors are telling you, but I'm bringing it to you from a different frame. And that frame is make money and have fun. I'm also adding on the fulfillment arm to it and the discovering your why arm, because that's where I think most people go wrong. Most people look at an industry and they go, oh, I can make a ton of money if I become a real estate investor. Right? And then they realize that they're not really pulled to that thing. They're not going to ever be able to give it the amount of energy and work that it deserves to thrive and to get to the level where you're making the money that you feel you're capable of making. But if you give it a slight tweak, a slight pivot, and maybe transition from real estate investing to teaching real estate investing like myself, now all of a sudden everything lines up and you're back to normal, right? If you're a I really love the chiropractor example, because the chiropractor example is like, most people don't go in with scoliosis and come out with this perfect posture. You come in and there might be one vertebrae out of place. But when they align that one vertebrae, you're like, whoa, what just happened, right? It's called a millimeter milestone. If you 1 millimeter of change will create a mile of difference in your life.
Agreed. That's really key right there, what he just said. That millimeter. What is it they say that if you take a step towards your body takes 1,000 steps towards you. If you take one step towards your goals or your life, it takes 1,000 steps towards you. We only pay attention to the one step we take. We forget to look for the 1,000 steps towards us.
Here's the way that I like to put that. I always say those who invest the most in themselves will have the most invested back into them.
Beautiful. That's it right there. That's really it. Yeah, I want to pop over just for a second, take a break right here and just pop. Lori says, I think it's important. I mean, they're talking a mile a minute. If you guys have questions for him, ask. I can barely keep up with your comments today. I think it's important to have clients we love. And I think this is a key to having fun, because painful clients are not fun. Honestly, if there's a client who wants to work with me, is nitpicky, condescending, difficult, I sever those ties right away. Obviously, it wasn't me, because I've been here for 10 years. Luckily, that hasn't happened often, but I think it's really important to be discerning as to who your clients are. I totally agree with you, Lori. This is a big part of the have fun. I love all my clients so much.
I need to say this too, real quick, as we go on. I want everybody to understand, I thought forever that the key to this was to trade in work for play. It's not. It's not, right? For me, it's hard. It's still hard. It's still work. It's just a different kind of hard. It's a different
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I have projects in my head. When I get a project in my head, when you're writing a book and you're outlining the book and you're actually creating the chapter, that's work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is having fun. It's very hard. You're trying to get that thing done, or negotiating the contract, trying to make it mutually beneficial, etc. Exactly. Those things are hard. They're hard things, but it's different when it's hard and it's fun. It's different. And I get that same feeling when I'm mountain biking, and you're going up the hill, up the hill, up the hill, up the hill, so you can go down the hill and really have fun. That up the hill part, it's fun. But it's hard, and you're sweating, and everything is, you're huffing and puffing. And that's the kind of thing that it's a different kind of fun. But I get what you're saying, and it's so fulfilling.
I think the message would be for anybody, the game is not to try to get rid of the hard. It's to pick the hard that you want.
Say that again. That again. That should be a bumper sticker.
The game is not to try to get rid of the hard. It's to pick the hard that you want. That's it. I mean, everybody out here, I wrote a blog post years ago called Busy Being Busy. And I said, it seems like every time I try to reach out to a friend or something, they're always busy. And I'm like, what the heck are you busy doing? And they're like, oh, I'm busy going to the store. Like, and like, I feel like we just try to fill up our calendar because it makes us feel like we're being productive. But in reality, we're just being busy. And so what I looked at is I said, what if I could pick and choose the things that I wanted to fill my calendar up with, and everything that I did fulfilled me. Everything that I did lit me up. So my day is still full, but it's a different feeling around my day.
I totally get that. Only talk to be in what makes you happy. Larissa, I get this. Hard pain and soft pain.
Yep.
It is. I get that. We're looking at that. I want to pop back up here because Lori said something. I think it's important to know we did that. We did that one. Okay, yay, I'm actually there. I agree. He's got great analogies today, and that last one was really great. This I really like. We all have our own fragrances that we can invest into an already existed idea. I really get that as well. The game is not to be rid of the heart, but to pick the heart you want, the heart you want. That is so important. When you get to the point where you're looking at having fun and making money and doing the things that you love, I got to say, this man has delivered the full Monty on that. It is definitely, for some reason, I want to take this off today. There it is. That's why it hasn't been there. Oh my God. I'm so sorry with this part. So here's what I want to say, because we're boiling down to the last part of the day, and you guys are still saying a lot of things to him and asking if you have questions for him now would be the time. I know, I like this. It was an interesting typo. It was hard and heart, and it was together. I saw that too, and I thought, that's perfect, man.
That works too.
Yeah, it does. One of the things I want to talk about is when we get to difficult things, not hard things, unexpected challenges. Somebody popped up with the Christmas effect. Choose your hard, the Christmas effect. Fill your schedule with the hard you want to be involved in and excited about. Yes, I practice this all the time. Sean, Sean, you guys should talk. This is really something that's really so important right here about choosing your hard. Now, here's what I know. The more I win, the more I want to win. Mm-hmm. The more I love what I'm doing, the more I want to do it. So when people talk about motivation or they talk about inspiration, part of the having fun and loving what you're doing, once you have that, speak about motivation. Because to me, I don't need any motivation. Don't need somebody going, Vickie, you can do it. I'm so into doing what I'm doing that I'll just do it. And motivation isn't what I think is sold to the public. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know the question I'm asking?
I think so. Well, I'll answer it the way that I think you're asking it, and then we'll play from there.
Great.
So for me, I looked at my life for a while over I guess like the past 5 or 6 years, and I said, why were there times where I could just get into this tunnel and dig in? And I mean, like I would work until 2, 3 in the morning on some project or something that I was doing. And then there were other times where I would just keep putting this work off. And I'm like, I'll get to it later. I don't feel like it right now. I'm not in the right mood. And I said, why are there differences in those times? Why are there times where I can, in essence, pardon my French, work my ass off, and other times where I'm putting the work aside? And I said, how can I hack that? How can I hack essentially my action to where everything that I'm doing is something that I can dig in and find that tunnel vision on? And so that is where Make Money and Have Fun essentially was born, out of that idea of like, you know, if anybody looks at their life, you'll see that. And you're like, man, I really dug into this thing. For instance, here's the perfect example. My dad is a musician, a professional guitar player. And he used to always tell me stories as a kid. He said sometimes he would come home from school. He went to college for accounting. And he said he would come home from school and he would throw his accounting book in the corner. And he would open up his music book and start playing guitar. And I started to resonate with that. And as I got older, I would tell people kind of as a joke, but also kind of for real. I said, show me your room and I'll tell you what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Because for the most part, like I said in the beginning, we're already doing it. You know, if you're a skateboarder, you got skateboards hanging on your wall in your room. If you're a musician, you got, you know, keyboards and guitars. If you're a techie, you got computer parts all over the place. Like, you can look at your life and you'll probably find the thing that you tinker with, that you like to do, that you're in the zone with. You know, you look at someone, I always like looking at billionaires or even portrayed billionaires in movies. And they always have this social awkwardness. If you look at like Tony Stark in the MCU, he's got this real big social awkwardness to him, but he's got this incredible work ethic and this incredible drive where when he gets into it, like, you can't bother him because, you know, he's going to say something out of place or awkward or hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. But his work drive is so highly there that it's like he found his thing and he's in it so deep that everything else is kind of gone at that point. Right. And we don't always get to that level of extremity with it. Mm-hmm. But I think that to answer your question about motivation is that we become self-motivated at that.
Yes. It almost borders on obsession with me when I do it. And I really get the being in the zone. And so I don't even begin until I'm in the zone. And now after years, I can put myself in the zone just like that. I know how I operate enough to put myself in that zone. Exactly. But I like it's amazing. It's amazing when you transform into that, because the amount of productivity goes skyrocketing and the achievement level goes skyrocketing. Yes. You never need to feel motivated. Mm-hmm. You are motivation at that point. You are in that motivation, that zone. I love that feeling.
At that point, it's almost like having the border of the puzzle done. Right?
Yes.
Now from here, we have to make sure that we're creating highest and best use. So we're not just busy, but we're actually producing, like you said, you know, being productive. And then number two is, if you can add an income stream onto the back end of that, now it's all, you know, it's all churning and burning. We got that full cycle going on where it's like, I'm fully aligned to my work. I'm in the zone, you know, and I'm just in this thing, and it's producing me an income. It's creating a revenue for me on the back end of it. That's where I try to get people to be, right? And when it comes to that, it has nothing to do with money anymore. It was so funny for me because so many people came to me and I say, why do you want to be a real estate investor? And I say, I want to make more money. And I say, no, you don't. That's not what it's about. That's never what it's about, because money is nothing more than a big paperweight. You know, it's the money that we use is the money that counts. The money that we have stored is the money that doesn't have any value yet.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I'm in the zone, I experience no tiredness. Me too. I get this place. To me, this place feels sacred. It's not just your average. It feels sacred. And like you said earlier, Fred, it was like the time goes by and you're like, how did I get here? It's already this time. I love that feeling of that sacred. And when I live in that spot, I feel fulfilled, and I feel as though my achievements are just forwarding me. And what happens then is the money starts flowing. It just, you don't even worry about the money at some point. You do, you put your offer up, you got to see what it's there, but it's not the foremost thing, because a lot of people start businesses and have these things because they want to make more money. And if they could make more money without starting a business, they'd rather do that. So there's a difference between having what he is talking about, make money and have fun. Mm-hmm. If you're trying to hustle and grind because you want to take care of something and you don't really want a business, that's vastly different. We are talking about living a level of entrepreneurship that's actually conscious and awake. Yeah. You guys were running up on the time, and I just want to tell you how, like this. Oh my God, I know, right? When I'm working on something I love, I can stay up till the sun rises and never get drowsy. I totally get this place. Want to pop over here because I thought this was important. Sean says, you have to do it even when you don't feel like it. The difference is integrity. Integrity is unwavering commitment to yourself and your decisions, even when you don't feel like it. I always feel like it when I'm in that zone. But yes, Susie says, to sum it all up, my friend sent me a card and it says, life is short. Buy the damn shoes. I love all of the thoughts and ideas today. Run, don't walk to that dream makes you and others smile. I want to let you know that no matter what age you are, you can always make money and have fun. You can always have that higher road lifestyle. And so, Fred, it's getting up to the top. And what if they want to be involved with you? Where can they go? What can they do? How can they find you? How can they be with you?
Yeah, so I'm doing two really big things right now. First of all, Tuesdays. Mark your calendar. Every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going live. I'm doing a Zoom every Tuesday, a private Zoom that I can invite you guys to, where I'm basically just giving free value with it. Whatever I got, we're talking about a lot of the concepts I talk about today, a lot of the pieces that are in my book. I'm doing that for 52 weeks throughout the year, every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Then right after that event at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday, I am going into my Make Money and Have Fun Mastermind. So this is really the meat and potatoes of everything that I'm doing. We're getting into it. It's a group of tight-knit, exclusive, growth-oriented, like-minded people that are just looking for the best life that they can create. They're striving towards financial fulfillment. And, this is what everything is kind of working its way towards, is I want to create a tribe, a movement, a group of people that are all living financially fulfilled and, of course, making money and having fun.
Oh, God, I'm so thrilled that you're here. Thank you, Vickie and Fred. What a great episode. Thank you. Thank you.
Nice to be here.
I'm really thrilled that we're friends. And
Yes.
I want to say, because I'm older than you, I'm really proud of how your generation thinks about money and family and work. I think that our elders, your elders, and us have left a really bad taste in the mouths of people where we think life is hard. You have to experience all kinds of pain and suffering. And your generation is that really true? I mean, is that really something we have to do? And I love that you were out front of your generation and stopping them, right? Don't believe the lie. This is a lie. Don't believe it. Come back here. You can make money and have fun and have a fulfilling life and have fulfilling relationships. And I'm so impressed with how you deliver it 100% of the time, making money and have fun. This is a man that you guys should be following all the time and he's having a lot of success, and he's going to be sharing his tips and tools and things that are there. This has been one of my favorite coffee break shows today. I got to tell you, I love to make money and have fun. And Fred, I'm going to bring you back on to this show when we're going to talk about the other thing that we're going to talk about, which is fiat currencies and things like that. And, talk about that. Yeah. So for today, that's been the Coffee Break Show. You guys go get his books. Go get your copies right now. Go be on his podcast or his vlog. Go ahead and subscribe to that. Put that in the thread. I will talk about Fred tomorrow as we talk in Thursday. And I know, because you're buzzing about this particular conversation. You guys, thanks for hanging around. I'll see you tomorrow. Mwah. Do you know what it is right now? It is time to hear the music.